Great. Hello and welcome to those of you that are here, the CyberKazoo Puerto Rico VIPs. We are very excited to see you. And why is this not going forward? What have I done wrong? There we go. I am Kathy Stevens with CyberKazoo. I'm the mistress of marketing, and I am joined by Jeff, the nerd in charge.
Thank you.
And today we are going to talk about websites and some new exciting stuff that's going on. Yes, you can turn your website into a lead generating machine, even if you are not a techie. And I think this is probably going to work better at my end if I turn the video off while we go through these slides. And then I'll turn it back on towards the end. So I'm going to turn mine. Jeff, you can do whatever you'd like. I'm not a good multitasker, as we all know. Oops. So today's agenda, we are going to talk about frustrations. We are going to learn a new vocabulary word, going to look at some solutions, some opportunities, and at the very end, there's going to be a bonus gift for those of you that are still with us, that cared enough about this important subject to stay the entire 30 minutes. We ran 32 this morning. I'm going to try to make sure that doesn't happen, but hang out because the thing that we have at the end is very cool. You're going to want it. So, frustrations. CyberKazoo has been working with agents since 2009 to improve their websites to get the very maximum exposure for themselves and for their listings. And over those years, we've heard a lot of frustrations, and we get it. It's not a perfect system. It's a pretty good system. But the things that we heard over and over and over, we're going to just review some of those and talk about them. One thing that would be super helpful for us as we do this, in the chat box, if we talk about a frustration that you also have, give us a thumbs up or say, yes, me too. If you're like, no, that doesn't bother me at all, go ahead and give us a thumbs down. One thing that we learned this morning is that we need you to put in the number with your thumbs up or thumbs down. So you don't have to respond to all of them, but certainly if there's any that kind of resonate with you, please let us know, because this new platform and what we're talking about today is all about you guys. I'm great at marketing. Jeff is great at the techie, geeky stuff. The CyberKazoo team, writers, graphic designers, we're good at all that stuff, but we're not in the field. So we don't know what you face every day. And the only way that we can get better is for you to tell us. So the number 10, and these are in kind of no particular order till we get to the end, but the website platform that we have all been using for the last 11 plus years has super old technology, and they don't have a plan in place to update. The technology was built in the 90s. Along the way, they've updated here and there as those of us that work with it have kicked and screamed and said, hey, we need this, we need that. They've done a few things, but they really don't have a game plan of how they want to proceed and keep up with the times. And so we all find that, quite frankly, pretty frustrating. The number 9, this one gets us every time wasting spam and solicitation emails. You come in and you see something in your inbox on your phone or on your computer and it says, you've got a new lead. And you open it up, you're super excited, and then it's somebody trying to sell you something. And it's like, really, again? And it's just super frustrating. And we're not saying that that's never going to happen, but our records show it's about 25% of the leads that are currently coming through. And it's just a waste of time for everybody. And if you're really doing it right, you're going in, you're deleting those people. So we just wanted to look for a system that would not have that problem. Number 8, huge. No one is policing the listings. So basically anybody can put in any listing at any time, and they could have sold it 2 years ago or 10 years ago. No one is looking. We also see a lot of duplicate listings where 5, 6, 7, sometimes 10 agents are putting in the same listing, and they're not even putting it in at the same price. So it might be in there, for 250,000, 300, 325. And so that's just super frustrating for the agents because it makes you look bad when somebody calls you about a specific property and you're like, oh, I'm sorry, that one's not for sale. Or, oh, that one's really $40,000 than what it shows. So we really wanted to find a system where there would be some oversight to that. The next thing, we talked about the prices, but the addresses and the map locations. And we get calls at least once or twice a month with somebody saying, I don't know what to do. I put this address in correctly, and the map is showing it in the middle of the ocean. And it's just because the technology is old, it's not hooked up correctly to the Google Maps. And as we all know, Google rules the world. Number 6 is that visitors are unable to save and return to favorite properties. And so as people are looking at properties, they're going to see something that strikes their fancy and they want to watch it. Maybe it's not something that they're going to buy, but it's something that they want to keep an eye on just to get a sense of the market. Or maybe it's a seller and the seller is looking at houses, in their neighborhood or around their same square footage. And there's just not an easy way for them to be able to do that. So that was something that we heard that frustration over and over. Again, the confusing and dysfunctional maps from the visitor standpoint, and especially the younger visitors, they want to search by map. They want to be able to see how close is this to the Starbucks, or how far would this be to go to the beach, or how far is this from the freeway. And the way that the maps are written now, they just don't work. It's very, very difficult. It's also difficult to see how many properties are within a specific area. This one is huge in today's market, and that is that there is zero focus on the sellers or on tools for the sellers. In the old days, I just used air quotation marks, everybody was focused on buyers. That's what they wanted. But in these times, we need sellers desperately, and there aren't enough properties. And as we all know, if you have the seller's end of the deal, you're going to get that commission regardless of who buys it. If you have a buyer, it's very competitive. And if they're not making good offers, if they're not well qualified, if there's something off, it's difficult. So we really wanted to find a system that would work well for sellers. Number 3, no modern tools. If we look at these sites, I think we've done a really great job improving them, but they still have old tools. You can't make listing pages or searches where you can look in a specific area by a specific price range, by the number of bathrooms, etc. So that's been a big frustration. This one, outdated training materials and poor customer service. I kind of lumped that together. But the training materials, when you go to search for something on your existing platform, they were written, maybe in 2010 or later. And so they haven't really kept up. And customer service has really become cyber kazoo. And we love offering you customer service, but we also feel that your platform should offer customer service, and it should be hours that are convenient for you and easy for you to reach. So that's been a big frustration. Now, the number 1, and I'm just drum roll please, is that this system that we're all on was designed in Canada. It was made for the Canadian market at the time, then expanded into the US, kind of accidentally fell into the Latin America, Caribbean market. And there's zero focus from our perspective on Puerto Rico brokers. And all of you know that Puerto Rico is our sweet spot. We've been coming there, I think 2011 might have been our first trip there, maybe 2012. I know it was an election year. Jeff and his family lived there for quite some time. Our heart is in Puerto Rico. and we haven't been there for the last 2 years. We had a trip scheduled that had to be canceled due to an earthquake you all had. And then we had a trip scheduled in March of 2020 that had to be canceled due to the pandemic. So we are eager to be back on the ground and hanging out with you guys, and just really excited. And that's why we decided to build a solution and launch the solution in Puerto Rico. So if you want to type in the chat tool of the things we talked about, what's your biggest frustration, anything that we maybe missed, things that we can address at a later date, we would absolutely love that feedback. One of the hardest things, you all know that I love to be live because I'm getting the interaction, but these webinars are a bit difficult because we don't know what you're thinking. So it's super helpful if you tell us, and even if we are not able to respond live, we can go back later and see what y'all were thinking. CyberKazoo, as you guys know, has been working on these websites, and we've done a darn good job, but the reality is we've been putting a Band-Aid on a broken system. And we're going to continue putting those Band-Aids on, and it's good, but we also just wanted to look for a different way. And so we're here, it's a new day, it's time for a new solution. We are super excited, it's time for a new word, and that word is IDX. And I just want to explain that. I know some of you understand it, but others maybe not so much. IDX stands for Integrated Data Exchange. And that is a method by where your MLS, your board, has specific criteria that they require from the agents who are part of it. And so maybe you have to put listings up within 24 hours, or the price has to be accurate. You have to have a contract. If you sell it, you have to mark it sold within 24 hours. And so all of that goes into your board, and your board makes those rules. And then a system called an integrated data exchange takes that information and puts it into a format that we can use on your website. And so instead of information being 3 days old, 3 weeks old, 3 years old, it's 3 minutes old. This integrated data exchange is updated every 3 minutes. So as soon as something happens, almost instantaneously, it's on your website and it's correct. And so CyberKazoo plus IDX equals CYBER-IDX. And that's what we're here to talk about today. It is a new platform that we have launched. It's separate from CyberKazoo, but yet it's the same players. Jeff's wife had a baby recently, as some of you know, and I think while she was making the baby, Jeff was working on this because it's really become his baby. And I know he has a lot of pride in it. And so he's made a video that we're going to show you. It lasts about 8 minutes. And so Jeff, if you would do that, and then we'll come back and we'll have some question and answers. And remember, we have that prize for you.
All righty. So I just want to say real quick that I believe the video in the middle gets a little bit blurry, and that's we figured that out today in our first meeting. We didn't have a chance to record another, so I'll go play. Hey everybody, thank you for joining today's webinar. I'm very excited about it. We've been working hard behind the scenes to get it up and running. I do want to thank a few people in particular right off the bat: Ramon Fierra, Alexandra Amador, and Diana Caballero. These have been our pilots for this little duration as we've been setting up this platform and testing the configurations. So thank you guys. And we can just dive right into this demo here. So the development team here at CyberKazoo has been working hard on creating this product line, which we're calling CYBER-IDX. This is a website that is fully integrated with an MLS system. So what that means is any listing that is on your MLS is going to be automatically populated to this website. That's just kind of the layer one of the cake. The next layer on top of that is the website design is off the bat superb. The technology behind it is new in trend. So we are using the most current JavaScript, current servers. We're making the site as fast as we can. We are also working on some widgets. So some widgets that we have already rolled out that are polished and ready for everybody to use. We're going to be demoing here today. So just looking here at this website that we have, this website example, it's Ramon's website. It's connected to the MLS. And the first thing you see is this search widget. This will be on all of our sites. So the user will be able to search now by a city, by a price, by bedrooms, all within one search. We are making this platform very, user-friendly, number one. But number two, we are also making it Puerto Rico friendly. So we're trying to keep, our updates, our integrations in line with the Puerto Rico market. Next, we're going to scroll down a little bit and demo our map feature. So our map feature is state of the art. It's very similar to Zillow. We have a satellite view now. We can also do other kind of Google layout views. And we have clusters. So what we're calling these clusters is if I highlight over where we see this 5, these are 5 listings within this specific area. So if somebody clicks on it, it goes a little bit closer and you're able to see the listings there and see the information of the listings. We also, right below that, have our property carousel. Our carousel can be modified to show whatever search you guys want. If you wanted it just to show condos, if you wanted this search on the condo page, that's now possible. The layout of this website is awesome. I'm very, very happy about it. The developers behind, we're typically nerds, so we don't have the design brain set, but we do have the technology behind us, all of those lines of code and everything to make it all work. We also have, some text spots that we can include, and then the buttons that are also rotating. So kind of getting a little bit diving further into the website, I'm going to hide my image here so it doesn't lag each time I switch. But we're going to be looking at some save searches that we can do. So we can create pages now that are based, because the market's so hot everywhere. We can create pages that are showing listings within a week, listings within 48 hours, and even 24 hours. Any type of time frame that we want to show, we can do that. It's also important to mention that the MLS, this listing, so when you add an MLS, it takes 3 minutes for it to get to the website. It's very quick, very, very quick. If we go into some of the listing pages, so our listings page, we're looking at Guaynabo right now. We have the map feature, and then we have the listings. Just, a lot bigger of a layout than we're used to. We can still modify this layout in the future. And one thing that we want to just highlight and touch real quick on is this little add to feature or add to favorites button down here. This is going to be pretty cool. We'll actually go ahead and add this one, and we'll see that it adds it as my feature. Next off, we can actually go into our market reports. So our market reports, this is something that the user will be able to create on their end. They can go down here and type in, San Juan as a location, and they can see how that market is right now. So we can see that there has been 7 listings sold this week, 6 new listings added this week, and the average price is around $745,000. So this is great information. They can save this search. They can even go down and view the listings that are available, lots and land, all of that kind of stuff is, designed for the user. So we'll go into what I think is my favorite part of this, which is the buyer's login. So I liked that property just a minute ago. And when we log on, so the buyer will be able or is able to create their own little log on access, so their own username and password. They can sign into your website and they can view all of the stuff that they've been looking at. So we have up on top, we have some of the saved searches that I've been looking at. I've been looking at what is this? So this is just residential properties. This one I was looking at 2 bedrooms. So that's pretty cool. And then we go down to the properties that I've saved. We can look at all of those properties together. There's that one I've added. Then you can go back here to your dashboard and you can see the market reports that you've created and go back into those. So here's a Condado market report in Isla Verde, San Juan. This is all within the buyer's login. Additionally, some things to touch on is the website speed. So our website speed is our servers are located in Houston, Texas. So what that really means is the delay from when a user goes onto the site and loads, instead of it being where point 2 is hosting it now in Romania. So that's a little bit, quite a distance for that. We're talking milliseconds, but those type of seconds are really what is, affecting the website, the user's experience. So since we have our servers located in the US and located as close as possible as we could to Puerto Rico, the website speed is phenomenal. The website is also mobile responsive right off the bat. It changes everything to the screen size. Even our little listing carousels go down into the screens. And so everything is beautiful, right? And yeah, I think, that is just the quick demo of the CYBER-IDX sites. And thank you. Bye. Kathy, I think you're muted.
Yes, I was muted. Sorry about that. I was talking away. I was really funny, so go ahead and laugh. What I was saying is that we have about 9 minutes left, so we are going to go through some frequently asked questions, and then we'll give you the gift. That will be at around 7:30 your time. Hopefully y'all are drinking some wine by now. And then we'll stay on and answer any questions that you have. So Jeff, does the CYBER-IDX platform work with my board?
Yeah, so right now we're already integrated with 2 MLS systems, Stellar MLS and Interface, sometimes called Exposure Reality Server. However, the technology behind IDX is really like the listing data. So we can essentially connect to any MLS. If there's ones out in the future that we're going to add, it's super easy for us to do that.
You tell us and we'll do it.
Exactly.
Okay, the next one, and I get this question all the time, especially from our less techie agents, which is 99% of you. Will I need to learn something new or do something different?
Yeah, so you'll have, as long as you're already adding the listings in your MLS, you won't have to learn anything new because we're pulling that data directly from the MLS to the website. If you aren't adding the listings to the MLS, you're going to have to start doing that. We recommend it as well. Like, the publicity behind it is outweighing.
Right. And if you're not a member of one of the boards now, you will be eventually. This is the future. And so there may be a little bit of a learning curve, but we will help you. We'll have new training material coming out weekly and also meetings to walk through and show you guys how it all works. Okay, so if I wanted an CYBER-IDX website, how long is it going to take?
Sorry, I was answering the question. It takes us 10 days right now, where that's our runway. Um, and that's probably going to change. It might get a little bit faster, depending on, our integrations behind that. But it also might get a little bit longer depending on our workload. So 10 days right now.
Awesome. Okay, this is a big one. What about my current website? I've invested a lot of money into it with you guys, and I'm getting leads from it. Do I just close that down, or what do I do here?
Yes, we don't recommend closing down the old website as long as it's bringing you qualified leads. So this new platform is, in my opinion, like another marketing channel, um, because there are other listings that might not be on your other website. So it's completely separate. That's a good graphic there. So it's the old site plus CyBER-IDX equals more leads, and more leads equals more sales. So as long as that kind of formula stays in line, keep the old site.
It's kind of like Facebook and Instagram. Just because you're doing Instagram doesn't mean you should give up on Facebook, because there's still people like me that use Facebook. So we think both are a good option. Okay, what is included in this package?
All right, so included in the package is a branded website. So we take your current website and brand, push the branding over. If you don't have a website, we would create a brand behind that. Google Analytics, so that we can see where the users are coming from. That's installed. Google Search Console. This is to help you with Google ranking, and that kind of thing. One text page, SEO written. 25 saved searches are the pages that one bedroom. What's a good example? Condos in Condado. Land in Isla Verde, those type of things. Search widget is that beautiful main widget that's on the homepage. We can add that to other pages as well. The listing carousel is that listing rotation that's linked to the saved searches. So whatever property you want to share, it's in that carousel. The contact form is a custom form. New listing notifier, so that you can notify people when you get new listings. Home evaluation, that's a custom home evaluation form as well. And the lead listing portal is the buyers or sellers kind of like online office. So the user will be able to sign up and get notified. And also something to touch on is you yourself can create a portal for an existing lead that you have that might not have entered it into the system. So you can create it for them. You can drag and drop listings in there. This is great so that when you're sharing properties to your prospects, you don't have to go and tell them, go on my website, go to page 4, halfway down, there's a condo that's white. So this you'll be able to send to them kind of as like a gift package. And that's what's included.
And then they'll be able to add to that or take things out if it's not something. So it's very, very personalized and an easy way to quickly communicate with your leads and even your sellers. You can use that portal to drag things in and show them what's comparable. Maybe you have a seller that thinks that their house is worth $2 million and it's only worth 1.8. So you can drag a bunch of comps in there and show them exactly what's happening.
Yep. And those market reports. That's a good one for sellers as well.
Right. And then most important, it is from our perspective as to what you're going to get, is you will be a charter member in the Club Pilotos. And those are the first people, the early adapters that jump onto this program. And what that means is, like, as we're adding new features, we're going to come to you and we're going to say, here's a list of 10 things. Tell us which ones are most important to you. And that will become our roadmap so that we know what to build next. And the great thing about this is that you will get anything that comes out in the next year, no matter what it is. If we invent it and it's available, it will be included because you were a charter member. So I think that's a really big deal. The obvious next question is, what is your investment? And it's really two-part. And so you need to think of it. You've been working with CyberKazoo. We have created your websites, and there was a one-time fee for that. I'm going to just skip this slide right now because we're running a little bit more behind. So the one-time website setup is $14.95. So that's what you pay for us to set it all up, link it to your IDX, your URL, get everything functioning for you. And then you have that monthly fee for the hosting. And that pays for the IDX feed that's updated every 3 minutes, the maintenance of the website to make sure that it doesn't go down, that there are no issues. And so that there's some different categories starting at $97 if you have one board and you don't have the map. We strongly think the map is worth $30. To us, this is the sweet spot. Do one board, add the map. There are some of you that have asked for 2 boards, and so we do have that as an option. So that's something that you can do as well.